The Mayan civilization developed for 2,000 years and reached its peak in scientific, social, and cultural development. The people of Mayan origin still constitute a significant part of the current Guatemalan population. Since the Spanish colonization in the 16th century, the history of indigenous peoples has been one of exclusion of rights and culture. The 20th century began with the rule of the United Fruit Company, an American-owned company which owned 40% of the best land in the country and the railroad. Between the United Fruit Company and President Jorge Ubico, the Mayan people lived through one of the most repressive times in their history. From 1944 to 1954, Guatemala lived through a period of freedom of expression and political organization, of agrarian reform, and of social and economic progress. Some sectors of the Army, the United States, and the United Fruit Company interpreted that freedom and development of the people was a threat to their interests, which were fueled by greed and stockholder demands, many of which were American politicians. In 1954, a contingent of the Guatemalan Army, with the support of the U.S. Army, invaded the country, staging a coup that was led by the United States CIA. The second half of the 20th century is marked by insurrection and revolutionary movements. For 40 years, the Mayan people were very busy subsisting and defending their lives. Being a peasant and indigenous meant being suspected of being a guerrilla. Over 30 years, there were more than 200,000 forced disappearances or murders of innocent Guatemalan and Mayan people. The war only recently ended in 1996, when peace accords were signed, ending the armed conflict and opening a window of hope.
Pueblo de Guatemala, la paz ha sido firmada.
Except for the cessation of armed confrontations between the army and the guerrillas and the political repression, little peace has been achieved in the last 10 years. Combine the continued violence with a country that has been plagued with natural disasters, loss of land due to poor farming practices and climate change, and you have a place where nearly 60% of the people are living under the poverty line. The strength of the spirit of its people keeps alive the hope of achieving unity, and that strength allows them to achieve a new and better reality for all.
Guatemala es un país fuerte, que lucha, pero al mismo tiempo es un país muy convulsionado, hundido en la corrupción, un país que necesita muchas oportunidades. Existen muchas personas con mucho talento, con muchas ideas, lamentablemente sin la posibilidad de poder crearlas o hacerlas más grandes. Es un país guerrero, fuerte, un país noble, amigable, que tiene una realidad muy dura y que está lastimada por personas que dirigen mal las cosas y que no dan la oportunidad. Entonces creo que lo que se necesita aquí son cambios desde el principio.
I first came to Guatemala in 2015 and brought a group of 12 Caddy girls to come here. We saw that it was actually the closest country that is still technically a developing nation, a third world country, that was the least expensive flight for us to get to, where we could bring the most help and the most of our caddies could actually participate and travel. I definitely didn't expect to be, having a home here and being here several times a year and dedicating a large portion of my life to this, but it totally changed everything for me, my perspective.
Bueno, básicamente Proyecto Génesis empezó el 12 de julio de 2012. La idea principal era el poder enseñar a mi hija Génesis a poder preocuparse por los demás. Era un proyecto, un asunto anónimo, pequeño. Empezamos trabajando con 7 niños y 9 años después pues, estamos trabajando con 140 niños, reforzamiento, nutrición, educación, salud, y ahora, este 2021, empezamos programas vocacionales como cocina y mecánica.
So we appreciate everyone's support. Here at FAM, we have a lot of goals for us as well. Our primary focus for this tournament is to support Project Genesis. So with you playing in the tournament or being here or sponsoring or sending donations, you guys are making a huge impact in the lives of these kids, and we couldn't appreciate you anymore.
Bueno, el arranque más fuerte para iniciar Proyecto Génesis fue darse cuenta como padre de la realidad que viven los niños en Guatemala, de la poca o del poco apoyo que tienen en cuanto a educación y salud, y pues identificar a mi hija dentro de los zapatos de otros niños y ver lo vulnerable que son en realidad en nuestro país y los riesgos que corren a través del tiempo y de su crecimiento y de no tener las oportunidades suficientes para poder sobresalir.
So about 59% of Guatemalans are living in poverty. 46% of children under 5 are living with malnutrition and have stunted growth. And the average daily wage here in Chimaltenango, where these parents live and work, is about $8 to $10 per day, if that.
La satisfacción más grande para mí es ver para atrás el camino recorrido y ver los cambios que se han podido generar dentro de la comunidad y dentro de la evolución del proyecto, y saber de que pues no necesitamos llegar a tener una fortuna para poder empezar a apoyar a los demás, para poder preocuparse por el prójimo, sino simplemente sentir el amor hacia las demás personas y ser consecuentes con su realidad y su necesidad.
The main reasons for Guatemala's instability and these, generational cycles of poverty run all the way back to, 100 years ago. And a lot of it had to do with some U.S. involvement with...
Pues gracias a Dios el proyecto Génesis es una gran bendición para mis hijos. Les ha ayudado en mucho, les ha ayudado en en darnos útiles, les ha ayudado en sus estudios, es de gran ayuda el proyecto Génesis.
Bueno, ¿cómo influye el apoyo de personas del exterior en mí y el impacto que da el proyecto Génesis? Es algo increíble. Son personas que podrían venir a vacacionar, a pasar un tiempo de ocio en cualquier parte de nuestro país y sin embargo pues han decidido hacerse parte de este sueño, de este movimiento para tratar de cambiar las cosas para la niñez de Guatemala. En el caso de Megan, yo recuerdo que la primera vez que ella vino tenía una semana con nosotros y después iba a un albergue de perros, creo, de algunos animalitos, pero ella le tomó tanto cariño al proyecto y a los niños que desde el 2015 está aquí apoyándonos y luchando y siendo parte cada vez más de los sueños que tenemos en Proyecto Génesis.
So over a decade, we've volunteered or worked a ton of charity golf tournaments across the USA and worked a lot of events, and I just felt really fortunate and I wanted to give back my part. I felt like my company was at a point where we were doing well. It was right after Shark Tank, and I just wanted to do something to give back and kind of inspire other people to also get into that. And our logo is Don't Impress, Inspire, because I feel like a lot of people these days with social media, especially young women, are really impressionable, and they see these standards on social media, and we just want them to know that that doesn't define you and that doesn't make you who you are. And by stepping in and jumping in and helping other people or learning some different trades, that these are ways that you just recognize your worth better and you can be successful.
Yo he aprendido más de lo que he logrado enseñar, porque pues tal vez el título de profe ha llegado a ser empírico, pues no tengo la carrera de magisterio. Me ha tocado agarrar una computadora y buscar los temas que ellos están estudiando porque no recuerdo, porque lo vi hace muchos años. He aprendido mucho sobre la satisfacción de ellos y la realidad que viven.
Pues yo le digo a ellos que le echen ganas, que aprovechen lo que da el proyecto Génesis. Como en mi caso, yo no tuve la posibilidad de poder estudiar. Entonces yo a la edad de 7 años yo fui a la escuela, pero solo fui 2 semanas y después ya no había recursos para seguir estudiando. Y yo participé en el proyecto Génesis y allí me enseñaron. Y lo poco que yo fui a aprender allá, ahora yo me siento feliz porque ya puedo escribir mi nombre, aunque sea solo mi nombre, pero yo digo que si le echo ganas yo voy a aprender más. Y eso es todo.
Project Genesis is definitely an eye-opener for anyone that has not been outside the tourist bubble of parts of Guatemala, because you just see the day-to-day hardships and how people really live.
Bueno, el impacto de las donaciones pues prácticamente es una parte, podría decir como la columna vertebral de este trabajo, porque todo es distribuido en los programas de nutrición, educación, que son los dos más fuertes que tenemos.
As of right now, we don't have any major sponsorships or funding at Genesis. It's just small donors from the US and Canada that come in. These funds are vital for the food, nutrition, the dentist visits, the medicines that we have to buy for the children, the lights, the water, the gas in the truck repairs. Our truck is on its last limb, so we're hoping to raise enough funds to get a new truck one day. But Ricardo's dream is to build a bigger school one day and have the necessary funds where we're not scraping by every single month to keep the kids there. Our goal is to get the kids in education and keep them out of the gangs. And make sure that they have a safe place where they can run and play, have that sense of belonging, have that mentoring from Ricardo, and also learn English and some other vital skills to make sure that they're on the right path to break that cycle of poverty.
Yo soy Ricardo Armas, director y fundador de Proyecto Génesis aquí en Guatemala. Pues estamos trabajando para la niñez de nuestro sector, de nuestra comunidad en Chimaltenango.
My name is Megan Tarmy. I own the Caddy Girls. I also started the FAM Foundation, and I volunteer at Project Genesis.
Thanks for support the Genesis Project Dreams.